Let's discuss Jordan Walker, baseball, born 2002. This is another lecture. Welcome to another lecture about Jordan Walker, an emerging talent in Major League Baseball. I am Alexei. I teach mathematics and I have a long-standing hobby of studying performance trajectories, which baseball provides in statistically generous quantities.
Hi, I am Priyanka. I am a doctoral student. I am excited to learn how a player moves from high school to the majors and why that path is not always linear.
Let's begin with the foundations. Jordan Alexander Walker is a professional baseball right fielder for the St. Louis Cardinals. Drafted 21st overall in 2020, he debuted in 2023, and by 2026 he was a first-time MLB All-Star and the first Cardinal ever to win the Home Run Derby. We observe, therefore, a rapid ascent, punctuated by both adversity and adaptation. To define key terms succinctly, MLB is the highest level of professional baseball in North America. Minor League Baseball, or MILB, is the developmental pipeline below MLB, with levels such as Low A, High A, Double A, and Triple A. When a club options a player, it sends him from the Major League roster to the minors without exposure to waivers. When a player is recalled, he is brought back to the MLB team. This administrative choreography shapes opportunity and development, especially for young players.
So, basically, MLB is the apex, and the minors are where most players learn to handle higher velocities, better sequencing, and, the everyday grind. And optioned or recalled are like the levers teams pull to match readiness with opportunity.
Moving forward, why is Walker's story relevant? In this context, it illustrates the modern development arc. From high school stardom in Georgia to a pandemic-disrupted entry, to early major league flashes and subsequent demotions, to injuries, and then to a 2026 breakthrough. It is a case study in how talent, environment, and adjustment interact under uncertainty.
And it kind of shows the stakes. Fans want stars now. Teams want sustainable growth. Players balance expectations with learning. Historically, that transition from high school to pro ball was not always well mapped, and the pandemic made it even murkier.
On to our next point, the basic facts. Walker was born May 2002. At Decatur High School, his 2019 junior line, 519 with 17 home runs, 60 RBIs, and 24 stolen bases, signaled a two-way threat. In 2020, despite a shortened senior season, he hit .457 over 16 games, earned Georgia Gatorade Player of the Year, and committed to Duke University, though he would sign professionally instead. The Cardinals selected him 21st overall in 2020. He signed in June 2020 for $2.9 million. That summer, the minor league season was canceled, so official development began in 2021. He promptly homered on the first pitch of his first professional at-bat. Then over 82 games at Low A Palm Beach and High A Peoria, he slashed .317, .388, .548, with 25 doubles and 14 steals, and was named the organization's minor league co-player of the year with Juan Yepes.
That first pitch home run is kind of cinematic, like a thesis statement in one swing.
Indeed. In 2022, at Double A Springfield, he moved from third base to the outfield in early August, expanding versatility. Across 119 games, he hit .306, .388, .510, with 19 homers, 31 doubles, and 22 steals, earned a Futures Game selection alongside Mason Wynn, and then went to the Arizona Fall League for additional outfield reps with Salt River. Then 2023, Cardinals operations chief John Mozeliak announced he made the opening day roster. He started in right field in March 2023, recording his first MLB hit and RBI. In early April, he hit his first MLB home run off Michael Tonkin, and later that month, a single extended his streak to 12 games, tying Eddie Murphy of the 1912 Athletics for the longest hitting streak by a player under 21 since 1900. That is to say, a rare historical company.
And yet, in April, he was optioned to Triple-A Memphis. So the early fireworks did not preclude refinement. He returned in June and finished 2023 at 276, 342, 445, with 16 homers and 51 RBIs, which for age 21 seems, very encouraging.
2024 brought turbulence. He opened as the starting right fielder, then was optioned April 24 after a 155 start, briefly recalled in August, optioned again, and then recalled later in August after Tommy Pham was designated for assignment. He finished with a 201 average over 51 games, 5 homers and 20 RBIs. 2025 added health setbacks, a wrist issue and appendicitis, a midseason injured list stint, and a July activation, with a final line of 215, 278, 306, 6 homers, 13 doubles, and 41 RBIs in 111 games. And yet, in 2026, he emphasized approach in the Cardinals' hitting lab, aiming to slow the game down and be ready for any pitch. He made the opening day roster again as the right fielder. By mid-season, he was an MLB All-Star, with a 290 average, 19 home runs, and a National League leading 63 RBIs. And he won the Home Run Derby by defeating Kyle Schwarber 12-11, with 6 consecutive home runs to close the final round, the first Cardinal to do so. One might say the adjustment phase bore fruit. Before we get to the complexities, a personal note. I am drawn to problems where the signal is intermittently obscured by noise. In chess and in baseball, a strong position can be temporarily compromised by a miscalculation. The task is not perfection, but recovery. Walker's arc, with its early peaks, troughs, and reoptimization, provides a neat empirical demonstration. Let's proceed to the next point. 3 big questions will guide us. First, how did early career development, particularly the canceled 2020 minor league season, shape his trajectory? Second, what if he had honored his commitment to Duke? Third, what does the 2026 breakout suggest about his future path and the challenges of sustaining elite performance? Big question 1. The 2020 cancellation removed formal game reps for an entire cohort. For Walker, who signed in June 2020, that meant deferred competitive exposure until 2021. Nonetheless, when play resumed, he homered on the first pitch he saw, then maintained a robust slash line and earned organizational honors. We can infer that foundational tools, power and bat speed, translated quickly once rep volume returned. However, certain subtleties, such as advanced pitch sequencing, zone management against elite velocity, and defensive transitions, often require iterative game loops that 2020 did not provide.
I am curious about the typical path. For a high school first rounder without a pandemic, is it like 2 to 4 years in the minors before a debut? And how does that compare with what actually happened here?
To elaborate, the modal path for a prep first rounder is approximately 3 to 5 years to the majors, depending on age, physical maturity, plate discipline, and defensive fit. Walker debuted in his age 20 season in 2023, roughly 3 years post-draft, which is on the quick end, even without the 2020 disruption. The demotion in April 2023 and the oscillations in 2024 reflect what we would expect in an accelerated timetable, The system compensates by creating feedback loops via options to Memphis, then reintegration. Many peers from the 2020 class experienced similar cadence irregularities. The year without games introduced variance in timing for when weaknesses would surface, often at the major league level, rather than being ironed out in AA or AAA. In simpler terms, the canceled season likely shifted some developmental learning from 2020 and 2021 into 2023 and 2024. That is to say, the lessons arrived, they simply arrived later, under brighter lights.
So yeah, moving on. Big question 2. What if he had gone to Duke? Would 3 years in college have made him a different hitter, or just a later debut? I also wonder about the academic plus athletic balance. Could that have insulated him from some of the mental pressure, or added a different kind of pressure?
Speaking of counterfactuals, we must be careful, but some contours are analyzable. Had he gone to Duke, the earliest draft re-entry would plausibly be after his junior spring, placing his pro debut around 2024 or 2025. College competition offers structured environments, metal-to-wood bat transitions in summer leagues, and ample video and analytics support. A strong college performance might have improved draft position and perhaps altered signing bonus structure. Alternatively, injury or stagnation could have reduced leverage. Academically, the scaffold of coursework and campus life can buffer identity beyond sport, but the calendar also compresses training and game schedules differently. On net, the most likely difference is temporal, debut later, with certain approach refinements absorbed in college rather than the high minors.
From a different angle, maybe the outfield transition happens later too. He was drafted as a third baseman, then shifted to the outfield in AA in early August 2022 to increase versatility. In college, that decision might be delayed by college roster needs, or accelerated by aluminum bat offense masking some swing holes. It makes me wonder how much context matters.
Clearly, context matters. The Cardinals' specific positional architecture in 2022 favored an outfield path to major league at-bats, and Walker's athleticism supported the switch. At Duke, a defensive home might have persisted at third base longer, changing the development of reads, routes, and throwing patterns he ultimately needed in right field. Theoretically, he might debut later as a third baseman or arrive as a more polished corner outfielder, but with fewer professional reps before facing MLB pitching. Trade-offs are inherent. This logically leads us to big question 3. What does the 2026 surge tell us about sustaining performance? We observe he focused on slowing the game in the batter's box, emphasizing pitch recognition, timing, and decision-making. Early career traits, power and extra base contact, were always evident. See 25 doubles and 14 steals in 2021, and 31 doubles and 22 steals in 2022. The 2026 step suggests that process fidelity, not merely talent, unlocked run production at scale, evidenced by a .290 average, 19 homers, and an NL-leading 63 RBIs by mid-season, and then the composure to win the home run derby with 6 consecutive final round swings under pressure.
Can we say that health is the hidden variable here? In 2025, he had a wrist injury and appendicitis. That feels like it would sap bat speed and strength. So, is maintaining health like the main research frontier for keeping that 2026 level going?
Fundamentally, yes. Wrists are central to bat acceleration and barrel control. Appendicitis, while acute and not preventable via training, disrupts strength and timing. Injury prevention research in baseball increasingly targets individualized workload management, sleep and recovery protocols, and biomechanical efficiency to minimize soft tissue stress. For an everyday right fielder who also serves as designated hitter, the volume of high-intent swings and throws must be periodized. In this context, we can forecast sustainability if three conditions hold. 1. Continued discipline in swing decisions to preserve contact quality. 2. Health stability, notably in the wrist and core chain. 3. Defensive consolidation in right field so that cognitive bandwidth is not overtaxed by positional uncertainty.
Maybe it's just me, but the Derby win also seems psychologically important. Like performing under a national spotlight, 6 straight homers to clinch. That probably feeds confidence, which then feeds approach. But I guess the season is a marathon. Confidence has to be paired with repetition.
Arguably, the Derby is not a proxy for league pitching, but it is a demonstration of timing control and stress handling. If you will, it is a lab for rhythm under constraints. The more durable signal for future performance remains his 2026 in-game approach, line drive authority, and situational hitting reflected in RBI production. In conclusion to this question, the trajectory appears robust if the process that produced 2026 is maintained, not merely the outcome. To summarize, Jordan Walker's path runs from elite Georgia prep hitter to first-round pick in 2020 with a $2.9 million signing bonus, to a 2021 debut punctuated by a first-pitch home run and organizational honors, to a 2022 Double-A force and outfield convert, to a 2023 rookie with a historic 12-game hitting streak and subsequent option, through 2024 struggles and 2025 health interruptions, and into a 2026 resurgence with an all-star nod and a home run derby title, the first in Cardinals history.
The 3 questions we explored were how the cancelled 2020 season shifted development, what a Duke path might have changed, and what the 2026 jump implies about sustaining excellence. Relatedly, there is a broader topic about MLB player transitions, from position changes to the option recall cycle as a learning tool.
This then completes our present analysis. Thank you for listening, and as always, I encourage further study. The public record in baseball is rich, and the patterns reward careful reading.
Thank you, Professor.